Hey, welcome to the Tuesday Talk Movies podcast. I'm Drew.
I'm Cameron.
And it is the second to last episode, at least for me, being in it, this podcast. So, some emotional times, Cam. Emotional times.
Yeah.
So, we wanted to talk about a film that we... Oh, a show. Yes, a show.
Jesus.
Dude, to Tuesday Talk Movies, I guess we're kind of lying now. We were talking about a show, and it is called The Bear, which is available on Hulu. And I think at first we disagreed about it before you had watched it. I haven't heard your opinions on it, but we want to talk about it because I really like it. I think it's one of the better shows to come out in the last 10 years. Yes. And you were skeptical when I said that. And I guess we'll go into the actors right now before we get into our initial opinions.
So, the show's main characters, and it's hard to even call them main characters because it feels like each character has their own episode dedicated to
They
them.
do, yeah.
And so, we'll go... Carmen? No. Are we doing names or...
Do the actors.
Jeremy Allen White, Ayo Edebiri, Molly Gordon, Maddie Matheson, Abby Elliott, John Bernthal, L-Boy.
A crap set of people that you probably never heard of.
Yeah.
Besides John Bernthal, Jeremy Allen White.
Lionel. He was on Loiter Squad.
I guess really once we get to the episode like Fishes, that's kind of where all the celebrities kind of pop out.
Oh, yeah. You got
John Mulaney.
John Mulaney.
Bob Odenkirk.
Don't tell me the last one. What's her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah.
So basically, I guess to sum up the series' log line, it's basically about this guy named Carmy who is from a very dysfunctional family, and he had gone overseas because he was like one of the best chefs in the world, and he was working for one of the best restaurants in the world until his brother, which the whole family's from Chicago, his brother dies and basically leaves Carmy the restaurant that he was owning. That was a complete crap show. It is just, and Carmy sees that because he starts owning it. He leaves his work and starts owning for his brother. And I guess I would say that concept it feels simple, but I feel like, I guess to summarize it, the way it's shot and the way that it's conveyed makes it more interesting than the plot would initially sound, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you heard this guy who's the top chef, now he's taking over his brother's restaurant. That sounds kind of boring,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like the way, because I know you were watching it actually earlier, and you're like, God, they have a lot of one takes.
Yeah.
That makes it feel really dynamic, at least in my opinion. Would you agree with that? The way it's shot and the way that
that makes it interesting. Yeah.
It makes it more overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, especially that Seven Fishes episode. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna have to figure out how to organize this where we're not jumping from season to season. But yeah, I think that initially, I think the show does a good job of kind of introducing you to the characters, like through their them working. You know, it's not one of those things where it's we're with one character with one character with one character. That comes later in the second season, I believe.
Yeah.
Which I have an opinion about that, but so far, I think having Jeremy Allen White as the main guy, I like his act, I like him as an actor. He's really good at just flipping out, which I love.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just seems so stressed. I relate to him, and I'm like, should I really be relating to him? Because that's terrible.
Yeah, man. It's the hair and the eyes. He's always
So greasy. His hair's so taking Tums.
It makes sense though. Wasn't he drinking Pepto-Bismol?
Pepto-Bismol. Yeah, Tums all the time. Oh my gosh. But yeah, what'd you think of overall how the characters were portrayed, at least right off the jump in season 1?
How they were portrayed. Okay.
Introduced, I meant.
Well, how did I feel about how they were introduced? So, I'm glad they didn't just tell us one by one who everyone is, and they didn't have it be this is a brand new everything's new. I like how everything was already established, and you can already tell from the jump that Carmy was stressed out because of the way it opened. They had that a bunch of the music going, and then you could tell he was stressed because they had the bear, the actual bear sounds and stuff like that coming. Yeah. So I like that aspect. We do get to learn. I don't know. I kind of noticed that they were constantly saying each other's names. I guess you have to do that so you become familiar. It wasn't obvious
it was a little confusing on knowing everyone's relationship with each other at first.
Yeah, but they're not like that hard to understand.
Yeah.
because they all at the end of the day they're all just coworkers.
Yeah.
But I guess you learn later on in the first first season and second season how each one individually meshes with one another.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think sorry, I kind of just skipped over your thing. I guess I'll ask you this, but like was your skepticism like before you watched it? What was your like emotions before you watched it to now in terms of like the show? Like from what I said, because I thought it was like a really, really good show. What do you think now?
All right, so
What do you think now, Cam?
all right,
Oh, here we go.
so I watched this. Did this come out? This didn't come out during COVID, did it?
No.
2022.
Yes.
So
very fresh, very early.
yeah. So I watched this. I watched the first season straight through. I think after the second season ended,
Gotcha.
or when the second season started. And the first season was pretty cool. And then I started the second season. I got to like the 5th episode. Like, man, this is really boring.
Really?
So yeah, I don't know why, but the first season was good. But then I watched the second season, and I just couldn't get into it anymore. And it's strange because I love cooking movies. I blank on the name right now, but there's one where like the whole movie is a one take. I'll think of it later. And The Menu, and the one with
Chef or something like that. Jon Favreau.
no, not that. It was
No?
one with I'm gonna blank on it again. It's whatever. It's somewhere in this fall. But yeah, I like cooking shows. I like cooking movies. And this one, I just couldn't get into it. I think because I was expecting something different. So when you said you wanted to talk about this, I had to force myself to like, all right, let's try it again. And maybe because I didn't pay attention to the second season either. So when I actually did, that's when I really started growing appreciation for it. The first season was kind of a drag to get through compared to the
First season?
second
Really?
season. Yeah, because I was more. They each had their slow moments. I think.
No, I agree. I think I agree with you that I think the first season has, as a season, it moves a lot quicker in terms of like the pacing. Where I feel like the second one has bigger highs,
Yeah.
but takes more time with each individual character. Which I really love the show because of those highs and the character moments and everything. But I think the show, I think it succeeds the most. I think the reason I like it is the dynamic when everyone's together.
Yeah.
And so when they're separated, and we have the one bakery guy
Yeah.
go overseas, and having a Will Poulter cameo,
That was.
it was cool, but it was like, it's not as like cool to see him with a new character. Like when we're trying to learn him, I want to see him with the characters we've known and see how they interact, because that's the best part of the show, when they're all in the kitchen freaking out and trying to figure things out together. And I'm gonna say it. What's her name? The main girl.
Sydney.
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 Say it.
I don't like her. I do not like her. I think she's annoying. I think that her actress is fine, but I think that it sounds like she's forgetting her lines throughout. And she's won a lot of awards. Good for her.
She had
Good for her.
Golden Globe.
Yeah.
Golden.
The show. It's a film. The show. It's almost like in my head, I know that like Carmy shouldn't yell at her. I get that. But it's like she messed up. Like in the first season, they have this new, they're trying to, be more technologically sound. So they have like an online order option. She jacks it up, and they don't have like a limit, like a cap.
Yeah.
And so it's like 700 like chicken things, like this, and this. Messes it up. And now Carmi's like yelling at her, get off, and she's trying to figure it out because she's like a control freak. And to me, it's like frustrating because she's like a control freak that tries to like show up everybody, try and prove that she's the best or whatever. And like Carmi's like, get off my station, and yells at her. She leaves. She just leaves in the middle of the mess.
It sucks because she's the one that messed it up.
Yeah.
And
then the show makes you like, we get to watch Carmi like go up here and it's like, I'm a jerk. I'm sorry. And it's like, yeah, you didn't handle it the best. But it's like, I wouldn't go as far to say that you're completely in the wrong. I mean, it's a stressful situation.
yeah, you have a like.
Yeah. He's the best in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like if Gordon Ramsay like came out and he said, get off my station, we wouldn't be seeing him apologizing. We don't see him apologize in Hell's Kitchen. We just move on. That's just how he is. So I don't like her character. I know you kind of have similar opinion about her.
Yeah, I haven't liked her since. I think it was that same. I don't know. It was season 1, and it might have been the same episode. She left, and that's when they found the money and all like the pasta and because they couldn't
the cans.
Yeah. And then I hated that, man. I hated it because she messed everything up, and she comes back
And it
with
works
money.
out.
Yeah. And I know that's not what she didn't know that was gonna happen, but just to see it happen that way, I hated it because it comes across like she's only here for the money. I know she's not.
Yes. Like, it seemed like she wouldn't have stayed if it wasn't, like, the money wasn't there kind of.
Yeah, like, I know that's not what happened, but that's just what it feels like.
Yeah, it's a straight, to me personally, it just feels strange.
Yeah.
It's like in my head, it's like, I don't like her, but it seems like the show is, like, constantly trying to, like, this is probably a loose usage of the term, but gaslight me into thinking that she's, like, a good
person.
Yeah. And, like, I like the sibling kind of relationship she has with Carmi, like, going into the second season. Like, where that stuff, but it's like, it seems a lot of, like, Carmi just appeasing her. Like, she's like, stop spending time with your girlfriend. He's like, you're right.
I should stop. Yeah. It felt like they were about to start dating.
It did.
I think was it the last episode or
season 1?
Season 2, when they were under the table?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a straight, the way it was shot was very...
it was like glow zooming.
Yeah, zooming in, I was like, this isn't gonna work. Because I knew he had a girlfriend. Because I thought she was mad that he was spending time with her because he wasn't... Yeah, with her. Like, and I was like...
what's going on?
She jealous?
And then she just rejected...
Which we're just a bunch of dumb dudes who, like, don't understand complex themes, I guess, but...
And she had just rejected, Lionel.
The bakery
Marcus.
guy.
Yeah.
Marcus.
All right, and I'm like, man, they're not about to kiss right now, are they? And it's zooming in, and they're, like, grunting because they're messing with the table. I'm like, dude, this is real.
That scene goes on for a long time, too. Like, it's played out. And another huge long take, which that one scene in season 1, and I guess I'll say generally in the show, it is very good at making you feel like you are working in that kitchen with them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you feel like you're in there with them. You follow each character. And I mean, that's hard by itself. But I think the acting, I mean, that's being able to say, like, okay, all you have to, like, I don't know if they actually know how to cook. I doubt that they do, like, the actors. But they have to, like, look like they're doing it. Like, it's real. It looks realistic, at least for the most part.
I don't think, have we ever seen them doing it? Like, I think for the most part we just see their hands.
I was gonna talk to you because you said you like cooking shows. Or cooking movies? Do you like cooking movies because of, like, aesthetically, like, the food? I would assume that you're probably disappointed because this film, or God, I can't say it right. This show, like, does not focus on the food nearly at all.
It doesn't.
It's all about, like, what's going on, like, here.
I think that's why I didn't like it the first time. Yeah, because I was expecting them to have, I don't know, I thought it'd be more of a mix between the cooking and the relationship, that was mainly the relationship.
You're salivating at that,
yeah,
the beef,
exactly. Yeah. And I don't know, just
didn't get that.
I didn't, but I mean, we get a few shots of them randomly. But did we ever see them, like,
really cooking?
Yeah, I feel like for the most part we just see their hands.
We get quick shots, but we probably don't. Those probably aren't even the actors' hands.
Yeah.
But I guess narratively, how do you think that the show? Save myself. The show portrays Carmi's brother, because at the end of this show he kills himself, shoots himself, jumps off the bridge.
I think he jumped off the bridge.
Jumps off the bridge, which is played by John Bernthal. We see in a flashback, kind of seeing Carmi dealing with that death while also, like, taking up his complete crap show of a restaurant. I think in that first season, I think it was well done. I think the second season, like, explores that more through that Fishes episode. But I think the first season does a good job of making you, like, without that character, without flashbacks, maybe one flashback, you kind of get how big this was on him as a character. How do you think that was portrayed throughout the first season, at least?
I felt like I never really got a glimpse of who he was. Like, I was in the same shoes as Carmi, because I can kind of gather who through bits and pieces, but without actually seeing him and how he interacted. And it sounded like everyone just had kind of a different relationship with him, because
some were closer than others.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's how it goes. But Cousin, he seemed like he was pretty tight with him, especially, and you really get to see it at the season 2 conclusion. When should we talk about it now? I know you just said season 1, but
I mean, we can talk about it. Yeah.
All right, so season 2, Carmi's. It doesn't really matter, but anyway, when Carmi's brother dies, Carmi didn't go to the funeral because I think he was overseas.
Yeah.
And
at the restaurant,
Yeah, and Cousin did. I don't know why I can call him cousin.
Well, that's his name.
I know they call him Richie though, but I just
Richie. Yeah, I would
cousin.
just say cousin.
Yeah, and cousin went, and then cousin like, well, where were you for your effing brother? And then I really put into motion, like, well, not really put into motion, but it really just showed you like how much cooking really did take over Carmi's life, because Carmi, he's like really established. He was at a 3-star restaurant. He was one of the top chefs at the top country in the world.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So you really get to see how often or how much I was taking up his life, especially that Fishes episode, because he emphasized, or his mom emphasized, how much
how he didn't want to come back.
yeah, she only sees him once a year, which is actually crazy.
Which we'll talk about that episode, probably the longest out of any episode.
Yeah, I know we're kind of beating around the bush with
Yeah,
it.
we'll get to there soon, but I think like ending it more kind of with these characters. I think cousin or Richie, he's my favorite character
Okay.
because I think personally, I think it's because he's the most like relatable out of all of them, because he really he's not good at being a chef. He's not good at all. He kind of just is like help. The only reason he has the job, I think, is because the brother.
Yeah,
Because they were huge friends.
they're not related. Yeah,
They're friends, but he calls him cousin because they're so close or whatever. And I like him and Carmi's relationship because you can tell right off the jump that they're like cousins that like only hung out with each other because of the brother. You know what I mean? And so now that he's gone, they have to like kind of weirdly now mesh. And I think you can really feel that because they don't like each other.
They bump heads all
the time, and it feels like one of those things. Yeah, and which I wonder how old Richie is in this show. It's not important, but I'm just wondering because he has a kid, but
he's
got to be old, like 45.
I was gonna say 40-something.
But it's like he's 45, and it's like he doesn't really have like a lot going on. Is like, you know what I mean? He has his kid, but it's like,
yeah, and I hate. That's why everyone keeps calling him a loser, which I really hate.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
See, that's why I think that's where my anger towards Sydney comes from, because she comes in and it's like granted she's better than him, I get it, but she starts yelling at him, calling him a loser, talking about his kid, and it's just kind of like
you're in no position for that.
Yeah, I mean like it's like you don't talk about someone else's kid.
Yeah,
like that, and it's like I don't know, maybe it just frustrated me because I'm like that's a low blow, and I feel bad for the guy. Granted, he is also a douche. He can be a douche.
Yeah, I mean it.
Yeah, especially to Carmi.
That's fine though. It's like his brother.
Yeah,
it's cool, and they shake hands after every disagreement. And and she freaking stabs him.
She stabs him in the butt. In the butt,
and then she
doesn't even say sorry. Just
doesn't say sorry, and she's trying to have like this demonic feel. She stabs him. I don't know. I just really do not like this person.
Yeah, it's crazy. I do think that the comedy in the first season was very not like I was not expecting that. Like the scene where they go and they inadvertently like drug a bunch of the kids at that party.
Yeah,
that's like the second episode, I think.
yeah.
And it's weird because it's one of those shows where I can't pinpoint why it's so fun. Like obviously the scenario is funny, but I think it's just reactionary.
Yeah, I wouldn't classify this as a comedy. Like, you don't think
it won awards?
No, yeah, I don't think this made me laugh.
Not that second season, though, for sure.
Not the second. I don't remember any jokes that made me laugh.
Some dialogue, but it's not like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it's like always comedy, always comedy. It's like comedic moments in a drama.
Like one every 3 episodes, something funny happens. I don't know. I couldn't classify this as a comedy, just pure drama.
Yeah, and so I think like overall to kind of like end off the first season kind of talk, unless you had more to talk about for it, I think that it does a great job of, I guess, and the thing is like getting you fully aware and used to this family, how it's like Uncut Gems with how like they just talk over each other, they yell. Mm-hmm. But where Uncut Gems does it to a point of just frustration, I feel like, which is intended, this one does it to where it's like entertaining more than annoying. And I think I just like how it simulates how having such a dysfunctional family in this dysfunctional restaurant business is like done in Chicago.
Yeah, I had a question,
which is a cutthroat
city. Yeah. What did you think about? Remember the episode when the gangsters were outside and Richie kind of like told them to go off early?
Yeah.
So what did you think at the end of that when he called the police on them? Because that was kind of a very weird scenario.
When did you call the police on them? I know it's drama because they're standing out there and they're like, "This is my car." Yeah,
yeah. And then Sydney comes out and she hands them food to make peace with everyone. Mm-hmm. But when that happens, Richie calls the police on them and stand around the corner. I thought that was kind of a weird scenario because he was already cool with them prior, but because Sydney made everyone mesh and give him free food, kind of just got rid of him entirely.
Yeah, I I personally don't know. I think that I don't know. I think that like that gang or whatever that was there. I think that's more to show that they're not because when Carmy comes, he's basically like, all right, we're not going to do this like under the desk kind of stuff where we're like, gang things. We're like making this like a good establishment,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's where that comes from. I don't really know.
I
Like,
think
it kind of felt, I don't know, it felt weird.
I think because Carl was selling weed. Was he selling weed or cocaine?
Cousin was
What did I say? Richie?
You said Carmy.
Yeah, I mean, cousin was selling cocaine.
in the back of the restaurant.
Yeah, was it cocaine or weed? I don't think it
I
really
think it was
mattered.
weed.
Something. They were selling something behind, and that's where they came from.
Was it legal? Was it legal?
What? You can't sell. What?
Wasn't that legal, bro? Not weed selling, but like, when did weed become legal?
I think 2023.
Did it? Okay.
I think so. But
Dealing it's still not illegal, but like,
I thought you were saying was selling cocaine. Weed.
oh no, not cocaine.
No, I don't. Can you? I don't think you can't sell weed.
No, I don't think
I
so.
think you could smoke.
You have to get it from a dispensary.
I think you could smoke it in public. I think that's what. I don't know. I don't smoke, so I couldn't.
I didn't know when it became legal.
I think 2023. That's when weed became legal.
Okay.
But nonetheless.
So cocaine's legal. No, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's legal.
Quaaludes.
Yeah.
Quaaludes and cocaine. No, I don't think so. No. Oh, cocaine.
Can't
Cocaine
say
to
that.
wake me back up again. And morphine. Well, because it's awesome.
But yeah, season 1. I think that. Well, what do you think of?
I will say that I think that it complements season 2 a lot better because we get a lot of like stories of like their mother, stories of their mother, stories of their brother, stories of this and this, where it makes you wonder like, I would like to see them. I would like to see how that plays out, and that's where that fishes episode, which honestly we might just jump into it because that's like the highest point of season 2. It's like the biggest talked about episode.
Yeah.
Season 1 does a good job making you want that episode. So when you finally get it, it's a long episode too.
Like an hour.
Yeah, and we'll just jump right into it.
Open thoughts.
So it's late in the season too.
I think it's 7.
Yeah,
Season 2, episode 7.
season.
Yeah, I think so.
And so it's basically showing just a Christmas party of the entire Razzo, is that their name?
Rosado
family. With a slew of actors. So it's like Bob Odenkirk, John Mulaney, Jamie Lee Curtis, who I think was nominated for an award. Obviously the Carmy cousin, just the normal people in there with also like other family members that we've never seen before. And oh my God. I mean, I would go far to say that it is probably one of the most, probably one of the most like well acted, well done, overwhelming episodes of all time. Because it's tense and you can feel how tense it is. Not with several different characters making it tense.
Yeah.
And in the span of like 45 minutes, you can see like all the character dynamics like individually.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not jarring, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, it's because you get Carmy, who this is when Carmy, they had to beg him to come back because he didn't want to because like it's, I think that part of the show is my favorite in all honesty because of that, like just him wanting to leave, him wanting to get out of this like destructive family that guilts him for like succeeding essentially.
Yeah, and they try to play it off like,
oh, we're just kidding with you. Oh, don't be such a baby, When in reality, they're just putting him down all the time.
I don't know if it's jealousy, but like that they know that's taking over his life
to an extent.
Yeah. And the mom kind of shows it that the mom isn't jealous at the end. She's
mentally ill.
Yeah, she's scared.
Deeply mentally ill, bipolar, all the things.
Yeah,
and she has, because God, it's so hard to describe because like she is just such a beacon of just anxiety. She makes everyone anxious, especially the daughter, which we didn't even talk about the daughter.
Yeah,
the sister.
Did we just call it? What's her name? It's Sugar.
Sugar, yes.
Yeah, and gosh, that whole episode, and that was a good word, overwhelming, because I just felt like I couldn't breathe.
Yeah. Oh, and they're all close-ups.
And it's so claustrophobic, and like the noises. That's everyone constantly talking. You have background noise, and you have people over, like 3 people in conversation. They're all going over one another, and I'm just like, dude, I cannot. I don't know. I feel like it was bothering me, and like my
Oh yeah.
I just felt like
that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does a good job of that
in that kitchen.
Oh,
because they're cooking, and she's running around, and people are like, "It's okay, let me help you." Like, no, get away, don't touch it, and like, and it's just like, it's such a great balance of like anxiety, like comedy as well, along with just like basic, just like character work, just kind of like introducing these characters that we've never seen before and just kind of getting an idea. Granted, it's hard. I feel like that can be difficult because it's like these are some characters that we're only going to see once,
Yeah.
Like John Mulaney's character, we're only going to see once.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, we're only going to see once. Jamie Lee Curtis, we see her in the finale.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, and then John Bernthal, I mean, he's just so good at playing an angry guy.
Yeah, I think he was a good older brother.
He was. Looks so much older than Carmy, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked mature. Maybe because Carmy just looked.
He's like early, mid-30s.
If you have to put Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 99. But if you had to put an age on this, what would you, or age on Carmy, like, what would you be like? What would you
It
say?
says it in the show, I thought. Or, because I was curious, because, like, I know the actor's, like, 30-something, like, he's early 30s, but I think he's, like, 26? 26?
26, yeah.
I don't see. He looks older than 26 to me. Maybe it's the stress. But, like, when you see, like, him being 26 in the show, and then you see, and it's a flashback, and then you see John Bernthal, who's, like, 45.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. 20 years, 19 years old when he had, like, that's crazy. I mean, granted, that could very well be what the case was. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But, because he's basically a drug addict, a bad drug addict, kind of not great. Restaurant was deeply in debt. Just not going great.
What confused me was, why was he holding the money? I guess to put it just to save it. He didn't trust the banks.
I think so.
And like in the tomato paste,
Yeah.
I guess because he knew no one was using it.
I guess so.
Trust spaghetti.
I guess I can't really remember, but do you think that? I'm trying to think now. Why did he leave that money there? I'm a little confused. I'll look it up and I'll remember it. But do you think that, in terms of the family members, do you think that most of them, because I feel like the only one that was genuinely, because we see a bunch of one-on-ones with like Carmy and like other family members, and I think the only one, Sarah Paulson also is in the show. She's in.
Is she Richie's wife? Richie's girlfriend?
No. Oh, man. She is a cousin. I think she's a cousin of Carmy. I think.
Was she Pete's? Is that Pete's girl? No, that's
The John Mulaney's girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she has a conversation with him, and like she's really the only one that's like leveling with him and being like, just get out. Like, just go. You're doing great. Just leave. Because everyone else he talks to is kind of like, oh, you're too good for us. You're leaving and everything. And even the mom is like, I had to beg you to come here. And like, it's like guilting him and like making him feel terrible. And like, and that scene where oh my God, that scene where it's Carmy and Jamie Lee Curtis in the kitchen, and she's like, do you have a problem?
Yeah, after that,
and he's like,
he's like,
what do you mean? He's like, do you have a problem? And it's like, oh my God. And then the daughter, like when Sugar, like she like
she like hit the corner or something, she dropped something.
Yeah. And
she just spazzes out.
Yeah. I mean, those scenes, like those are, and they're like really, oh my God. Like that's like, you feel those moments. I think that's why this episode works so well, is because it gets that deep, and it's like comedy gets that deep in such a well-rounded way. What do you think of those scenes? Just, I mean,
I don't know. It's hard to put a word on it. Like you said, overwhelming. I felt like
you feel a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and everything just felt
realistic.
Right. If even the car, even when she crashed the car into the house.
Yeah, it's like I'm not surprised. Like it's like,
yeah, and I think the build up with the forks, that's what really puts stuff in motion. But,
well, the car thing itself, they mentioned that in season 1. They have like a thing where
mom.
Yeah, they mentioned that. So I think seeing that is also kind of just like, oh, that's what this is the craziness. And yeah, the forks.
That was funny. Yeah, it was funny
because it's Bob Odenkirk and John Bernthal, and I can't remember what their beef was, pun intended. Thank you.
It was because John Bernthal was telling the story, and Bob Odenkirk kind of cut him off because he kept telling the same story over and over again.
Yeah, and he's just very irritable. And John Bernthal does a great job making you like very like uneasy, like you don't know what he's gonna do.
And when he threw that fork, because there was a break in between it, because when the mom came in, oh man, that was such a great series of events, because they started with the fork, and then the mom came in, and everyone locked in and said, we're not gonna do it. And the mom throws a fit. She leaves, and then he throws the fork, and then she comes and crashes the car into the house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just you thought I don't know. It's evolution and decline, and
I think that that scene where they're all like sitting down together and they start hating each other. John Bernthal. And like I said, like John Bernthal, like even scenes with Carmi, even scenes with Cousin, you just like he's friends with him, but you just get this very like unhinged feeling from him where it's like don't say the wrong thing or something bad. Like even with Carmi, like where he's like giving him a gift or something like that. He's like, take the gift. He's like, no, listen to me, and he's like grabs, he's like, listen, and it's like Jesus, like it's kind of like
What you're talking about brother.
John Bernthal.
Okay, yeah.
It's like I just get this vibe where it's like, oh God, I don't even like. Even if I was his brother, I wouldn't even really want to talk to him because he kind of like scares people.
Think so? I didn't get that from him. I feel like he cares. He knows what he cares about. Like
he was on drugs too.
Yeah, I didn't. I think he knows who to like test or go against.
Yeah.
Because Carmi, I don't think they'd ever like bump heads. Because at the beginning, he was like, I'm happy you're home. He's like, does it hurt to call? And then he was just like, he could have easily went on and be like, yo, or just said something rude. He's like, hey, I'm happy you're home.
I think it's those scenes where it's like, where he goes like, calm,
Yeah.
I'm happy. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you can't really go at it with them because he'll like,
Yeah. Because he's the big brother. Yeah.
He does.
Lines.
Yeah. And I think like that, and like I said, establishing that familial relationship in such a short amount of time is really impressive on the acting part. Because like when he's talking with like Carmi, you just can feel that they're brothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can tell that they're, this war with that and the other. And when it gets to that fork scene, like you said, just that they sit down and John Mulaney's like long, like little speech goes on a little too long in my opinion, but where he's like, thank you for all this. And I think that it's really funny when he goes, is he still holding the fork? And it's like, and he goes, okay. And he's just making stuff up to kind of like ease up the thing. Is really cool. And then she comes out and everything, and he's just staring at me. And he finally throws it, and I think that, oh my God, I don't know. It's definitely, I would say, probably one of the best episodes in the last 20 years, I think, of a show.
They gave Breaking Bad like one of those. Ooh,
which one?
They gave
Ozzy.
That one. When they're in the desert.
Yeah.
They said that's the best season. The best episode of television. Like
really,
I think.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. That's a great episode. I think this is definitely like in the top 10. I'd say.
Yeah,
definitely.
Game of Thrones season enders or like no.
Season 4,
episode were they 9? Because all like whenever the last war was.
Yeah.
And season 10 or season 4 episode 10.
Season 2, episode 9 too.
Yeah.
Blackwater.
All the wars or all the battles of whatever Blackwater.
Yeah,
they're great.
That's great. Like I think this one definitely. See, I think that this is great, and I think it's more impressive because like this is just like character studies.
Yeah,
it's not like a drug cartel or like a war.
Out. Yeah,
I think. Yeah, what were we saying? Sorry,
nothing. We're just
we're kind of bumping.
No, it's good character dynamics, and like you said, it's interesting because literally like it's only dialogue.
Yeah,
and
no music, no, just tight shots. You know what I mean?
And expression.
Yeah, and I do think John Mulaney, honestly, like I was very skeptical about him as like being in this thing, and he actually gave like some good moments because like Fack, or is that his name?
Oh,
where he's like, he was like, you're at. Do I have $500? He's like, well, I'm a 40-year-old man, so yes, I have. I have it, and I just think like those. It's just fun. I don't know. It's funny, but like that scene where John Bernthal finally throws that fork at
man,
and then they rubs. Everyone's like and like everything, and then she crashes into the thing. And I mean, that scene where it's like Sugar, where it's like that zoom in on Sugar, it's just like having a panic attack essentially. And it's just like Carmi, and he like looks over, and it's the is it the fork inside like the turkey or something? It's like this,
yeah.
And he's just zooming in on it, and it's honestly like kind of like a horror-esque kind of vibe.
Yeah,
it's like weird music, like, and it's like that's not the right word, the noise at all. But you know what I mean, like a low beat, deep like thing, just zooming in on reactions. It's kind of like. It's weird.
I didn't piece together why they showed the sister Sugar at the end. I mean I didn't know that was a panic attack. But
I think it's essentially like because Carmi left, the brother died, so I think she was the only one that was kind of like the sibling who like tried to take care of the mom. So I think that brought her a lot of like, you know what I mean. So I think like that's why she's very closed off when it comes to the mom. Like, and you can tell because her in that episode compared to any other episode is so different.
Yeah, she doesn't even talk about the mom. Man, it's crazy because she didn't even tell her she was pregnant. And she was going to pop at any moment at season 2, episode 10.
Oh, yeah, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's a great episode. Because yeah, the whole season 2, which yeah, Fishes, fantastic episode. Go watch it.
Definitely.
Watch the stuff before so you'll understand it. But the whole season is kind of Carmy working towards making his own restaurant. You know, like turning the beef into like a whole new restaurant. You know what I mean? Changing the name into the Bear. Nice. And we get to see kind of that progression and everything. And so in season 10, it's their grand opening and everything. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about Cousins episode too. Yeah, we forgot about that. That comes before Fishes, I think.
I think
after Fishes.
I think it was the next episode, the 2 episodes after.
I guess I'll ask you this: do you think the placement of the Fishes episode is a little jarring because you're throwing this flashback episode in the middle of a plot line? You know what I mean? Like,
does the Bear come out
in season 10? Or what are you talking about?
Does the Bear come out in weekly episodes or just 10 at once? Because I was thinking
weekly. I thought.
Okay, if it's weekly, that might make more sense because if it was Christmas time in real life, then
actually,
season 2.
Because I watched it when it was all out, but I don't think that was because I was.
No, it came out in June,
all in one go.
Yeah, I think season 2.
I personally, I mean, I don't really know if there was a better spot to put this because I feel like they had all those episodes, which I talked earlier. I wasn't a big fan of like the episodes where it's like. This one character, this minor character, this minor character, and all in their own episodes. I feel like they didn't warrant that much time because I don't think they're as interesting when they're not together.
Well, I don't know. I think you kind of have like a negative opinion on the top on the episode with what's his name with Marcus, but
it's a good episode. I liked it.
Yes,
it's a little boring compared to the other ones.
It showed
great show though.
It showed how Carmy cares about his customers because that's the same chef that Carmy worked with on the same. Because
that's true.
Remember,
that's true.
Season
Will Poulter,
yeah, and
yes, so, no, I get what you mean.
Yeah, and he talked about it with the brother. He's like, I left on the boat, or I lived on the boat. I found the invisible cat, and he did something else. So
that's true. I mean, you're right about that because it definitely kind of it gives you more context on what like Carmy did to become the best and everything, and you get to learn more about Carmy through this character that he worked with. And I think that's why Richie's is the best out of all those individuals because one, he's the most compelling character out of all of them besides Carmy, I think. And seeing him like succeed in this like internship essentially at this restaurant, it's like pretty like it makes you feel good. Like when he's singing Taylor Swift and everything, you're like, oh, good for him. But it's that development of that because when we open, it's kind of like he is at that point like desperate, you know, to like prove that he's able to even be with everybody because everybody else is kind of like shooting up, like they're
especially Tina.
And Tina,
I love her.
And I think that when he walks by that picture of Will Poulter and Carmy, because that's awesome because Will Poulter talks about like, there's this one chef that came in and he was like the best and I would always try and get him and I think he says like I could never compete with him or ever. And then it was me and this other guy and he talks about this guy but we never get a name and then it's revealed that was Carmy. Oh my God, that's just Cam.
Come on, man.
Cam, that's just I mean that's just beautiful. Isn't that just great storytelling? Like, isn't that the fact that you shouldn't be surprised that was Carmy, but for some reason at least I was.
Yeah.
Were you shocked? You were like, oh shoot, that was Carmy.
Yeah. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I didn't set it until right now.
Really?
I didn't. No.
I mean,
it's easy to. I don't know if it's easy to assume, but yeah, that's good. I didn't realize it until now.
Yeah,
because was it the next episode, or the episode after that we're shown that? Because it was not the same episode.
No, it was.
Episode 2 later.
Will Poulter talked about that in the Marcus episode.
I remember that.
And in Richie's episode, we see that picture of them.
Yeah, but were they in order?
No, I think Fishes broke that.
I think
it was
so.
Fishes, and then it was Richie's episode.
Okay.
And then we went into the 9 and 10.
Yeah, so that's good.
But because even minor things like that, where it's like you wouldn't have got that if you didn't like watch that episode. And I'm just like, oh, that's awesome. Because, like, it makes you realize, like, holy crap, like, one, Carmy's that good. 2, you get to see how Carmy, like, affects, like, other good chefs and everything. And also it's just nice to see chefs that are of that caliber that aren't screaming. You like Carmy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he took his time with Marcus.
Yeah, he's very, like, chill and very cool and everything. I that moment was really, really good. The whole Richie episode, I think, like, that and the Fishes episode are the 2 best episodes of the season, with the finale episode 10 being like the third best,
I think I'd agree.
where they open that restaurant.
I think I'd agree. Yeah. And like you said, the placement of stuff because it's like a couple episodes was prior, you see the door handle get broken off, and then you don't even think about it till
Yes,
we could talk about that later.
that's true.
And-
Yes,
but
yes,
What
I'm excited to talk
yeah.
about that because
we'll do that last. What kind of threw me off was I don't remember how Richie got to the restaurant, and he was just,
that internship.
yeah.
I think it's told off screen that
Okay.
Carmi because he basically what Carmi's doing through his connections. You okay? Oh, here it is. So what? Like, cause he like has like networking and stuff, and he knows so many people. He's basically like saying like, hey, like sending them off to internship things,
Mhm.
and so he sends Richie to this one, and that's basically how he starts it because it's off screen. I think. I just think it's good to see like him like finally learn, and like because he's such a reckless, like unorganized mess.
Yeah.
Seeing him kind of be told like, if you don't care, leave, or if you do care, stay, and you're like, okay, great. We can now see him make a turning point and become, because by that episode to the last episode, he's a completely different character. I think. No, okay, that's not true, but like he's more like
Mature.
professional.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to see. And he also just accepts like, hey, like I'm good with people. I'll be like the what do you call it? Like the front man.
front-
Yeah, the host. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's cool how like he found his like spot and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You never really see like he was always front of the house. He was always front of the house. He was taking the check, or he was taking the
Also just messing things up, honestly.
yeah. And man, I'm kind of that was a great episode. And I was talking to somebody about it. They were talking about Richie's character development. I'm like, how are they gonna like play that in? But it seems so like the transitions to stuff, like this random episode just naturally fits. I don't know why.
It shouldn't. It
Yeah,
feels like
like-
it shouldn't.
It's in the middle of the season, but somehow it works to get everyone. I don't know, for everyone to have their own episode. But it's
Sydney's episode, I don't really remember much from her episode. I gotta be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff with her dad,
they're
Nice.
gonna force that a little bit.
or I don't, and that sucks because like she's like the co-main actor. I feel like she's like the
Yeah.
second leading person, supporting. There it is. And I just didn't feel like that episode was as interesting as like compared to Richie's. I mean, it's a matter of like kind of knowing who the most interesting is and kind of listening to like the fans. I feel like
Mhm.
because like if you were like, oh, which episode would you rather watch, Richie's or Sydney's? I'd be like
Richie's all day.
in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I love that episode.
I don't think Sydney's character.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't think Sydney's character allows for any development.
That's,
I mean, there is. I mean, you see it slowly because she's doing this whole thing with everyone. It's just to copy and Carmi's flow, but there's no like real develop because she wants to be the best, but she's slowly but surely learning how to be it. But it's so evident that it's hard for her to take criticism.
it's a classic fish out of water.
Yeah,
First episode, like it's like Ryan in The Office. Like it's his first day with our, you know what I mean? Like it's his first day, like in the first episode. So like we're like looking through him and stuff like that. But it's crazy how like in most cases that's the main character. You know what I mean? But like she's kind of like starting it, and we're kind of like getting away from her and more towards Carmi and that thing because honestly, it's more interesting doing that. But no, yeah, I can agree that like it just feels it feels like when you structure the season 2, it feels like it shouldn't work, but for some reason it does. And the cinematography in that Richie episode, like where it's like the zooming in, and it's like it makes it seem like really intense, even though all he's doing is like
watch forks.
yeah, it's like you ready, and he's like not clean forks, and he goes no forks, and he's like, and it's like zooming in on their face and everything.
Yeah,
It just felt like so like quick paced and dynamic. And like the scene where he like gets that pizza and he comes back and like he delivers
yeah.
like it just felt like that was such a good like character moment because you actually felt like he was actually like getting the hang of stuff,
Yeah.
actually succeeding,
Do you think?
even though he's not paid.
Yeah. Do you think?
Real. That's a real feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Succeeding but not paid. I felt that.
Yeah, well, that's us.
Yeah.
Do you think the pacing? Do you think this kind of alters the pacing?
What
Like how
having those individual character episodes?
Mhm.
I think that, like I said, the Sydney and the Marcus episodes, I think they were back to back. I think those slow it down because they're naturally slower paced episodes, where the Fishes and then the Richie's episode, then the 9th and 10th episode, those are just like so much more quick paced because of the nature of them. I think it's best that way because it's kind of like at the beginning of the season, you don't want to start off too hot to where it fizzles out at the end. So I feel like if you would have put like Richie's in the 3rd episode, it would have felt like, oh, we're going.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like having to be like, okay, character. Now we're going, you know. I think it was paced decent. I think it's the best it could have been compared. And I feel like the finale, like, I think it just cannot compare to the Fishes or Richie episode when it comes to that, like, feeling, like, fulfilled, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you don't get a full conclusion. I think...
Yeah. Which that's the point. Yeah.
I think maybe the Richie episode, not saying it's wrong how it is, but I think maybe the Richie episode could be placed season 9 or episode 9. But would that be too quick? Because he learns and then they open it. Unless they made season long.
Well, episode 9 and 10 is basically like kind of like a package deal because it's kind of like them getting ready for the opening.
And then
season or episode. God, we are struggling with
season episode.
Smallest things. Episode 10 is like them like on the first night. And I think we can just go into that episode. But like you were saying, like I think if you put Richie's thing, I think we needed that time to like show him returning to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Having those episode 9 stood as like a character episode where it's like, oh, like you've changed, or, you know, like in the good, like character.
Yeah.
Because you know, episode 10 is like we're in. You know, we gotta, you know, do those thing and everything. So I thought it was paced the best it could have been. It could have been paced really worse.
Yeah, putting
boring.
Starting with Fishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, switching.
Some people would. I feel like I feel like that could have been someone's first thought, where it's like, oh, it's a flashback. We don't want to put that in the middle of the season. Let's put that in the first episode. You know what I mean? But I feel like that would have made it jarring.
You're expecting too much already.
You can't start that in the first episode. You know?
Oh yeah, because then you're like,
what the hell is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think this.
Yeah, and going into episode 10, I think that the reason I think this show is so good is I think narratively there's so many things that like are just so like fulfilling, and what I mean by that is like, and Drew Brim would love this. It like subverts your expectations, what you think is going to happen. So it's like Carmy, it's his big night, his grand opening thing. His old boss.
Oh man,
he thinks he's there, which I thought was such a great thing because I love the way it's shot because it's like he looks over, like we're on Carmy, he looks over and it's a wide shot and you can just see it, but like I don't remember if they have a close up of him.
I think it's a medium.
Yeah, medium, where you see him stand there and like. And you're like, oh no, because he was his boss before the show started. And he was like brutally abusive. Yeah,
yeah. He wasn't like yelling, but he was just like, "You suck. You're gonna fail. Why are you?
You should kill yourself." Yeah, that's what he said. And I was like, wow. And so him being there just adds this extra anxiety because Carmy's like now antsed up and he's like doing a bunch of stuff differently to like make it better. With it already being tense enough, and he gets locked in the freezer.
What confused me was,
like you said, they broke the thing.
Yeah. What confused me was like, how didn't that mess up operations? Because like, won't they have to get in the freezer? Like, how are they making these food? How are they making this food without?
Did they have to? They had to go somewhere else to get food, meat, didn't they? Didn't like people had to get sent out and
bring it back? Really? They were already in motion when he got locked in.
That's a good point, actually.
That's what
God, it's so quick paced that I honestly didn't even think about that. Dang.
And I'm wondering how they got this.
It's true. I don't know where they got the food. I'll have to like honestly watch that again. I need to watch that episode again. But I think narratively, just the idea of like this guy who's so like hands on, has to be control of everything, control freak. I feel like honestly, it seems like such a gamble to be like, we're gonna lock him in the freezer for it.
Oh yeah.
Because when you're watching, you're kind of like, oh my god, because he's cussing, he's found on a thing, and I think that stands as such a cool narrative choice because he's all up here the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So putting him in a space where all he can do is just think. And just like overwhelm, and it's like he's just trapping him in there during like the biggest night of his life. I think is such a cool choice that I would never have thought that that's what they were gonna do. You know what I mean?
It makes sense though because like they showed it early. It was like a Chekhov's gun,
yeah,
kind of, because they showed him breaking it early, but they never fixed the problem.
Yeah. So and I think that those moments where he's in the thing, he's freaking out. It shows how. Honestly, mentally, like, just messed up he is because of all the expectations, all the stuff going on, how he has to oppress everybody. It's like, his life is, like, on the line. And it's like they're, like, doing good.
Yeah.
They're like, doing good without him. And I think that that's also where the frustration comes from because it's like, this is my thing. But now they're, like, doing good, and he's honestly like impeding them because he keeps pounding on the thing. He's like, tell me what's going on, and everything.
Yeah, and Cousin steps up tremendously. He gets everyone in line. And
Yeah. And the boss guy that we were talking about earlier, he's not even there.
I definitely thought he was.
Well, it shows that he's there, but then somebody walks by and it's someone who looks like him, but it's just not.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of goes to show kind of how, honestly, the abusive work life of being a famous chef like has like affected Carmi.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, and we didn't even mention that he has a girlfriend.
I was
We
gonna bring it up.
did earlier, but
Do you think that was kind of forced? Like, do you think it's natural? Because it's such a weird position
You know,
to have.
I personally do think that it may have been a little, like, we're in season 2, and he's meeting this girl that we'd never seen before, and it's kind of like, remember when we were in high school or this and this and that? I think they do a good job of giving us enough time with them. I think we get a good, but it just seems kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, let's give him a girlfriend. And then they do it. I think it was one of those things where if we saw her in season 1, like where it's like, she's like a neighbor, someone who lives next to the restaurant. We see her like get a couple scenes in season 1, and it's like teased a little bit. I don't think it's distractingly bad. I think it sets up for good conflict.
Depending on how you look at it, because she was mentioned in that Fishes episode, which is a flashback. Because remember when they're doing a thing like, yo, guess who we saw today?
They might have mentioned her in season 1, actually, now that I'm thinking of it.
Think so?
I think they mentioned her by name, but we never saw her.
Okay.
But I think that's fair, but...
You also think, I know you mentioned that, like, it was brought up by the fan, like, they probably took the opinions of the fans. Is that what you were saying earlier? Like,
yeah, like listening to the fans on...
Yeah. So they gave he gave her the fake number. And do you think they were listening to the fans after the fact? Because when they were at the party or something, he gives her a fake phone number to call. And we never really know why. Because maybe because he was too busy. I guess that's what it was, because that's what he said in episode 10. He was like, man, I'm too busy. I don't know why I need a girlfriend. And it was just weird. Like, if a guy gives you a fake number, why would you, like, force yourself to make contact with him?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I think that's just how she knew that's how he is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I also forgot about that too. Jesus, there's so much going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of little stuff.
Did you think it was, petty is the word, I think. I don't know why that's the word. But, like, kind of that conflict now where it's like, oh, he's spending more time. Because it's such a weird wishy-washy thing with me, because it's like, it's good that he has a girlfriend because he was like, all cook. So now when he has a girlfriend, it's kind of like there's a nice balance.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like they're approaching their opening night, and now the show makes you feel like, oh, maybe he's spending too much time with her, to where it's like taking him away from his craft.
That's the problem, man. In real life, too,
I'm
man.
just kidding.
Nah.
Did that feel kind of like a betrayal of kind of what the show was kind of trying to do with that character of having the girlfriend?
I don't think so, because
it should be a good thing. It should be kind of like one of those things where it's like he finally did it. He can have a nice balance.
That's what Cousin was saying when he was locked in. Like, why don't you let anything good ever happen? Like, he messed up his relationship.
It was Sydney's fault. She's the one who made him overthink about it. Because she's like, are you sure you're not spending much time with her? But we as the viewers aren't allowed to hate Sydney because
she's, I don't know.
Because this stupid crap. Because that was frustrating. That's what confused me. Because it's like she made it a bigger deal than it needed to be, and it's now
jealous.
I don't know if it's because I honestly don't really know. I think that's honestly a dynamic that will be explored in season 3. Because I can definitely see there being something there.
I don't want it to be. That'd be kind of gross.
It wouldn't make. I feel like it would just betray the whole girlfriend character of the season.
Yeah, and Carmi's not like that as a person.
Because what? So he talks. He's in the freezer, and she's like comes up after the thing, and puts her. And what does he say? I cannot remember. It's like about how he like doesn't. I should never have had a girlfriend. Like why would I do this? Like I need
to locked in with cooking. Like he knows this is what he does.
And she like breaks up with him basically.
Dude, and I was so.
And my thing is like it's frustrating, like rightfully so. But it's like. It's not like the girlfriend knows who he is. She knows he's an overthinker.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like when he says that, it's not like he's saying like, oh, I hate this girl, she's so annoying. It's more like, I don't know if I can be right to her because of my work and everything. I feel like the response would be like reassurance, not instant like, goodbye, Carmen, and run away.
That's what I was thinking. Like, he didn't say he hated you. He's locked in the freezer for who knows how long.
Probably freezing. And
he's not thinking, right? And
it's just frustrating.
The way the camera looked, it made it seem like, oh my gosh, and it made it seem like Sydney did it because they were going between the Richie, Sydney, and it looked like and Tina because they were confused on who the refrigerator guy was.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Tony or Carrie or Tony or something. So it made it seem like she did it on purpose. And I'm still kind of confused on that because they never explained it. And I don't know why Sydney went outside to go throw up.
Nerves, maybe?
Dude, you've already been cooked. You've already started cooking already.
Yeah. For 4 hours? Yeah, I don't know. But
I don't know.
And I think that, that happens, which I thought was a little extreme of a reaction. I think it was kind of like, really? Because it almost feels like, God dang it. Like, and I think that you're supposed to feel that way because Richie comes in and he's like, why can't you let anything good happen in your life? In that scene, because I saw you were watching it, where it's like them yelling at each other. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's such a, good scene because they're yelling at each other. It's like all the feelings, everything comes out and everything. And then it's like, it shows character growth. And I think that's why this show is so good, is because you see the character growth and the lack of character growth from Carmen, because it's like him yelling at him, cussing at him, saying a bunch of stupid stuff like he would if he was in season 1. But Richie's over there saying, like, I love you on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's showing how far Richie has come and how, like, a step backwards Carmi has come. And I think that's just like, I don't know. It's great. Like, that's the only word I can say, because you can see,
Oh, it is. A great show.
And let alone the cinematography, because we haven't really mentioned that a lot, is like really good.
It's so minor too. It's not even like a big thing.
It's just so aesthetically pleasing.
It makes sense, especially the blue, because it's in the freezer, but it's also like symbolic of how isolated he is and literally how cold he is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I sound like a dork.
Yeah, my only thing is they're coming out with season 3 this summer.
I think they're already working on 4 as well.
Really, my only thing is what's next. Obviously, there's character stuff to be like mended, like with the girlfriend and everything, but it's like, what possibly could be next, like for the show?
The how many people are coming, because that was just the opening night. So will it slow down?
I continue to say, like, how can we continue it being good?
Yeah, and I'm sure like minor stuff. Man,
I guess I'll just say, like, I don't really know what really is to come. I'm probably more curious to see, because I think it was just kind of obvious what was going to happen in the second season, like, because we're told that they're making this new restaurant, but they left it very open-ended.
Which is good, because you can explore different avenues.
Yeah, I have no clue what they're going to do. Maybe they might do more on the... Oh, yeah, also, the mom shows up in that episode. And the husband of Sugar, oh gosh, I don't know his name, Pete, who was just a goofball. Oh, Pete. He has, like, a very, like, emotional...
Man.
With her, because, like, Carmen didn't want to invite the mom, because she would just either made a scene or just ruined the night, or just would have been a mental thing for him. But he invites her, but they never hear a response back, so they're like, she's not coming. She shows up, like, she's outside, and Pete goes out and, like, says, hey, like, come inside, we have a chair for you. And she's like, I can't. And he's like, why can't you? And, like, just, like, a bunch of, like, back and forth of that. And she ends up not going in, but she kind of just, like, looks inside, sees, and I'm like, that's sad. I mean, and I think it's one of those things where it's like, she knows that it's better off without her. And Pete cries. I mean, Pete just starts crying and everything.
Yeah, that was kind of unwarranted. I'm not unwarranted, but like
it's
unexpected.
Sad. Yeah, that's true.
Like
if it's your son, yes, but like
his stepmom.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that he comes in and like Sugar comes up to me and he's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I was like, I mean, but like it's pretty sad. I mean, that like she thinks that for her being so mentally ill, she still feels like, oh, like she's knowledgeable how like she negatively affects her kids.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to like ruin them succeeding.
Yeah, and it's an odd character interaction.
Yeah.
Stepmom, the stepson, and
who we've never seen interact really before.
Yeah,
but I thought it worked.
It makes sense too, because
it's like fresh ground.
Yeah, like what's the relationship? Because we never really see them interact, because the mom was just angry at everyone at Thanksgiving or at Christmas. So.
Yeah. So I think, that was a great scene. I think that, ending it off, I really don't know what's to come. I don't really know what character dynamics are going to explore besides, obviously, like, Carmen dealing with himself and trying to, like, reconnect with everyone after he had, like, a very terrible, like, outburst at everybody, especially Richie.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend, obviously. But I'm very curious.
What if he had a kid? That'd
be cool. I think that's definitely something they'll explore soon. I can definitely see that. With whom I don't even know.
Speaking of children,
Sydney,
why the opening night? I don't know, the Marcus and Sydney thing, and then she rejects him, kind of, sort of. Remember?
No, it was that night. Yeah,
that was
the
same night.
Why?
She rejects him, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I just hate seeing like stuff not work out with the guy. I always want the guy to get the girl. if
They have a vibe.
they do,
Probably because she wants
I don't know.
that. I think that's going to be explored in season.
It
3.
needs to be because I want Marcus to get her. And actually, no, I don't because Marcus deserves better. Sydney is not a good person because the minute Marcus messes up, she's nagging in his ear.
Yeah.
And
Well, they got all those new chefs in there too for that opening night, and then they end up being like drug
Crackheads.
heads, crackheads, like whatever. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
that was weird because like nothing
they were new like characters that
Yeah.
didn't even have names, and it's like,
Do you think that was just an excuse for Sydney
I think it
and
was-
Marcus to have a conversation?
well, that, and I think that it was just kind of like to add more, introduce more conflict later.
Mhm.
Like there's these characters we've never even heard of or seen or talked to. You know, they're not going to be mainstays of this kitchen. You know what I mean? So I would personally say season 2 is way better than season 1 because you get to know the characters so much more, and it feels like just more of a fulfilling experience.
Mhm.
Where season 1's more of kind of like get used to the madness kind of feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a I would definitely say probably, gosh, it's probably the best running.
I don't know many shows, so I can't.
Well, I'm just saying, like, one of the best running shows currently, like, releasing new episodes. Because Better Call Saul's done. The Boys still going on.
I haven't watched it. Everyone's recommended it
It's
to
really, I think The Boys and The Bear are, like, the 2 best shows. House of Dragon, I heard, was pretty good.
I haven't watched it.
But, like,
Yeah.
seasons that are consistently coming out yearly, I think it's probably one of the best ones. Because, while it being still, like, just a lower stake kind of comedy drama, I think it's really good. Like I said, I love the show. I'm excited for season 3. The acting, visuals, cinematography, storytelling, by far, some of the best work I've seen.
Out of 5, what are we
Probably
talking?
probably God, it's so hard to talk about it without it being like a complete. Because I'm used to film where it's like a complete.
done.
Yeah. So I think so far, seasons 1 and 2, I guess if I was to give the show a whole rating, probably like a 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5, honestly. 4.5 out of 5.
I'm thinking the same because prior to us, like last week, I would have said, dude, this show's like a 3 at best.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, but now, maybe not even a 3. I would have said
Comes
back.
It redeems itself, it almost feels
Like
like.
it does. And I never thought it was bad. I just thought it was overrated.
Okay.
And I don't know because it's fresh to me because I literally just finished right before we started recording. I don't know if it's set in yet, but it's a bit overrated.
You think so?
Still, the way my friends talk about it, like it's worthy of awards for sure, but it's in talk with Succession. Everyone's saying it's like the best show ever. I'm like, this is not the best show ever.
I think prematurely it might be overrated because it's not. Because Succession is like getting a lot of heat, but it's had like 6 seasons
Yeah,
where it's like 6?
4.
4. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, 4. Where this one's still like young.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that like we'll see how it ends. to
Yeah.
See if it owns up to all the hype and everything. Because that first season, I personally think was overrated.
Yes,
But second season, I think is fairly rated.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe the first season was just like, yo, you guys are doing like way too much. The second season, it makes sense.
Mhm.
But overall, like you said, we're still in the process, so we don't know how it's
Yeah.
gonna go. But it's good stuff.
Excited to see. So, but yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
bear.
that is the bear. God, that was an hour. Good.
We haven't done one of these in like since
We got lost in the sauce.
we haven't done an hour long since the Oscars.
Oh yeah, the Oscars.
That was
Jesus,
really
that was long. But yes, we hope you enjoyed this episode, the second to last episode of me being on the podcast, and it was a lot of fun. We did Game of Thrones too. Yeah, the
Did you get
show.
those last?
Yeah, shows are fun too. Movies feel so like one and done. You know what I mean? Like where this one's more of a commitment.
Yeah.
So shows just have a different vibe.
I had to binge this. I thought we were going to do Succession, so I watched that first. Never got to Succession.
Yeah.
I finished it, but I had to binge this in like a week. It was cool though.
It's an easy watch too. It's like
There was,
the first season was. Second season had some longer form ones.
yeah, that second season, it took me a while. I
Yeah.
fell asleep a couple times.
But I think it's better that way because second season has more stuff to get through.
More substance.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we will see you next week for the last episode as we approach the end of the year, Cam. Indeed. We're not really sure what to talk about. It'll have to be a big one. We'll have to figure out a big movie, a big thing to talk about.
That's Drew's last episode.
It is.
So leave in the comments.
What you think we should talk
Yeah.
about for my last episode? Yeah. Bittersweet episode that will be. So we will see you next week. Have a great day, and thank you for joining us for today's episode. I'm Drew,
I'm Cameron.
and we will see you next week.
Bye.